Bonjour, this is Jill Andersen from Red Lake Comprehensive Health. Well, we finally made it, the move from cold and snowy to warm and sunny. With the change in weather, we have graduation and family picnics on the horizon. While I don't want to tell you to not do any of these things, there are 3 important topics I'd like to talk about for you to keep in mind so everyone can stay as safe as possible. Even though the state is reopening, this doesn't mean the risk of COVID has gone away. In fact, Red Lake had its first confirmed case just this week. This brings me to my first point. Stay informed about what's happening in this community. Make sure you're aware of any cases in our county and the surrounding areas before you get together with people from places other than Red Lake. Ask if people have recently traveled, if they've been to Duluth, Fargo, Minneapolis, St. Cloud, or Grand Forks, just to name a few. Take extra precautions if they haven't self-quarantined for 2 weeks. These are the hot spots around us right now. Bemidji and some surrounding areas are starting to see what is called community spread. This means the illness is spreading from a source of infection that is unknown. The second point might sound like a broken record, but it bears repeating. Follow the same precautions we've been preaching all along. Wash your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds, especially after touching communal objects like door handles or remotes, or after blowing your nose, coughing, or sneezing. If soap and water aren't around, use a hand sanitizer made from at least 60% alcohol. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth, especially with unwashed hands. Wear your cloth face covering over your nose and mouth when you're around others. It doesn't do any good hanging around your neck or tucked in your back pocket. Still try to stay at least 6 feet or about 2 arm lengths away from others. The cloth face cover, along with the distance, are probably your best defense against these tiny little droplets. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Remember, some people without symptoms may be able to spread the virus as well. That's why we're asking for the voluntary self-quarantine if you've traveled outside the area to one of those hot spots I mentioned, or if you find out you've been around someone that tested positive. This means 2 weeks of separating from others while you stay at home in your own room and don't go out in public. In a close-knit community like Red Lake, this virus can go from a small contained campfire to a wildfire in the blink of an eye. What happens here is completely up to us. If you're not feeling well or think you've been exposed, please call the hospital at 679-3912. We'll walk you through exactly what to do. Now, the third and final point is to try to keep gatherings and community events to 10 people or less. Sound frustrating? You bet. Short-term sacrifice for long-term payoff? Pretty much. Think about each person at the gathering. Where have they been? Who have they been around? Did they wear a mask? Were the people they were around wearing masks? If one droplet that contains this virus makes contact in just the right place, nothing you can do will take it back. Say you're a healthy 19-year-old girl and this happens. Probably not a big deal. But if she stops by grandma's house to drop off groceries or pick up laundry, and grandma has something like diabetes or heart disease, it could be disastrous. Did she purposely give it to her grandma? No way, because chances are she didn't even know she was sick yet or that she was even around anyone that was sick. That's the hidden danger of this virus. It's sneaky and it will take whatever host it can get. I realize that potlucks are a fundamental feature of get-togethers in Red Lake. Who doesn't like to share their best dish? Unfortunately, this tradition means almost certain cross-contamination between everyone there. The problem right now is how many handlers that dish would go through to share it. It's pretty impossible to keep it sanitary. So for the near future, what might be a better option is to have each family pack their own cooler and snacks along with a little toolkit of sorts. This would include each person's face covering, hand sanitizer, maybe gloves. Bring plenty of water or drinks and your own cups if need be. When planning your menu, think of dishes that do well outside, like finger foods, so you don't need to use the person's kitchen that you're visiting. Bring your own condiments, like ketchup, salt, and pepper, and any serving utensils you would use, like spoons, tongs, forks, and knives. Space out tables, pack a blanket, or if you have trouble sitting on the ground for a while, bring a lawn chair. When you're eating, stick around the people you live with already so you don't risk infecting others when you don't have your face covering on. And please, clean up after yourself so the person hosting the gathering isn't in a jam having to touch everyone's stuff after they left. Remember, not sharing is caring. Miigwech.